For our Expo project, we teamed up with students from Kenya in order to share ideas and learn about malaria.
Hi, my name is Anna. I am a senior at Roosevelt High School, and I love to sing.
Hi, I'm Sora, and I'm a junior at Roosevelt, and I like to draw.
Quinn, I'm a senior at Roosevelt, and I play rugby.
These are our partners from Ngami Secondary School in Kenya.
In Africa, a child dies every minute due to malaria. Malaria caused an estimated 660,000 deaths in 2010, 90% of which were children under 5 years old. And there are upwards of 200 million people infected, and these numbers are on the rise. Over half of the world is at risk of malaria, and the most vulnerable are children, pregnant women, non-immune travelers, and those infected with HIV or AIDS. These statistics are even more alarming by the fact that malaria is preventable and treatable. Although malaria prevention and control methods have been developed, the disease is still being spread rapidly. A holistic approach is needed to effectively prevent malaria. Malaria is caused by a parasite that belongs to the genus Plasmodium. There are 4 species that infect humans: P. falciparum, P. vivax, P. ovale, and P. malariae. P. falciparum is the most deadly and is found primarily in Africa. The life cycle of malaria is complex, and this is one of the reasons why it is so hard to treat. For malaria to complete a full life cycle, it infects 2 different hosts, a female Anopheles mosquito and a human. The female Anopheles mosquito is the carrier of malaria because male mosquitoes don't bite. Before the mosquito bites through human flesh, she sprays her saliva over the bite area so that the blood doesn't coagulate. And this is how the malaria parasite gets into the bloodstream. The mosquito's saliva carries sporozoites, which are the asexual form of the malaria parasite. The sporozoites travel through the human bloodstream to the liver, where they invade the human tissue cells of the liver. Over a period of 9 to 16 days, the parasite undergoes hundreds of asexual cellular divisions, copying its DNA over and over again, creating thousands of new parasites called morozoites, which are released into the bloodstream. Once inside the red blood cell, the morozoites devour the contents of the infected cell. The infected cell undergoes more DNA multiplication and growth over a 48-hour cycle, which ends with the release of more morozoites. Some of the mature parasites will develop into micro and macrogametocytes. When a mosquito bites a human infected with malaria at this stage, the parasite changes even more. In the mosquito's stomach, there is a temperature change which triggers malaria sex. Before fertilization can happen, the female form must mature into an egg, and the female form must turn into a sperm. This process happens when the membrane that binds a cell of female and male gametes fuse together. After fusing together, the nucleus of the microgamete enters the female cytoplasm to form a zygote, which is a globular cell. After 18 to 24 hours, the zygote becomes an eukaryote, which is elongated and mobile. Once the eukaryote is formed, it penetrates the wall of the mosquito's gut, and that's when the eukaryote transforms into an oocyst. The oocyst forms between the wall of the mosquito's gut and its skin. Within the oocyst, an asexual process of spore formation called sporogony occurs. This process produces thousands of sporozoites. In order for the oocyst to create the sporozoites, it needs nutrients, which is obtained from a mixture of blood and other body fluids found in the mosquito. When the oocyst is completely full of sporozoites, it ruptures and releases the sporozoites. Once the sporozoites reach the salivary glands of the mosquito, the apical of the sporozoites, which is the tip, enables it to penetrate the salivary gland cells. Once inside the salivary gland cells, the sporozoites then line spaces within the cytoplasm for 59 days. While inside the cytoplasm, the sporozoites develop and become 1,000 times more infective. When an infected biting mosquito bites a human, the malarial life cycle starts all over again, releasing the sporozoites into the human bloodstream.
The signs and symptoms of malaria are headache, joint pains, general body malaise, sometimes even the abdominal pains. Diarrhea can also be a sign and symptoms. backache, joint pains. So those are the main causes of, the main signs and symptoms of malaria.
The threat of malaria places economic strains both on individuals and governments. It is estimated that direct costs due to malaria are $12 billion per year, excluding lost economic growth. These costs include drug treatments, travel expenses, treatment at clinics, lost work, absence from school, maintenance of clinics, and public health interventions. The Vuria community in Kenya is threatened daily by the killer disease malaria. One of our Kenyan partners said, "Very many people around me have either once or multiple times suffered from malaria. It is a common phenomenon in all families to have somebody suffering from malaria. My mother tells me that it almost killed me when I was still very young." In Vuria, everyone is vulnerable to the disease no matter their age. Children and pregnant women are more susceptible to it because of their weaker immune systems. The elders suffer more seriously from malaria because of their low levels of white blood cells. One of our Kenyan partners, Rose, has said that she has suffered from malaria very many times while in school and also at home. Due to the large populations that malaria affects, many people are not able to work and children are not able to attend school. This lag in economic growth due to people's absence from work and school can impact the overall economic stability of nations. There are currently no licensed vaccines that fight malaria or any other human parasite, but researchers are getting closer to developing such a vaccine. The different vaccine strategies that are being developed include pre-erythrocytic blood stage vaccines, transmission-blocking vaccines, multi-antigen vaccines, and whole organism vaccines. To be able to effectively combat malaria, the systems that survey malaria must be improved, as they currently detect only around 10% of the total estimated cases worldwide. No amount of scientific research will cure malaria if there is no direct interaction with communities in endemic areas. It is important that the methods being used to fight malaria are specifically tailored to fit the needs of the community they are being used in, as no two communities are alike. When providing communities with resources to prevent malaria, the effort must go beyond merely providing supplies, but to include education and culturally sensitive solutions. Malaria can no longer be seen as a regional issue, but rather a global issue if there is to be any hope of truly curing this disease.